Hey everybody, Monkey King here, bringing you another revoltech review. And today we're looking at the Toy Story 3 Buzz Lightyear. I'm going to admit this is going to be a little bit of a tough review, only because it was not what I expected. The box art is very nice. You have your Buzz Lightyear figure and the guy who, of course, sculpted the figure. Some little poses and everything. Turn to the back. Some other revoltechs that you can buy. Again, like the buy 10 revoltechs, send in 100 points, they give you a revoltech, blah blah blah. Different poses for Buzz Lightyear. Shows different facial expressions and all that. His accessory count. Open up the box. And it shows, of course he's not in there, but it shows different clips from the movies, and that's pretty much it. I always do love the sci-fi revoltechs only because of the boxes that they come in. But without further ado, here is Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, he's a little smaller than expected. But that does not mean he's a bad revoltech. The sculpting on this guy is very show accurate or movie accurate. Go ahead and move his arm out of the way. Put them down. The sculpting on this guy is extraordinary. Even down to the little danger on his little jetpack. He even has the Buzz Lightyear, well, just Lightyear really, over his little wings. Then you have Space Ranger's laser. The detailing on this guy is fairly accurate. One cool feature is, with most of the American Buzz Lightyear toys, you couldn't really get him to point his laser out. Well, with this one, you can rotate his arms out, and almost have it like he's pointing his laser out and everything, and you can have him, well, attempt to do it. Kind of like that. And I do apologize if you hear any explosions in the background. It's 4th of July, so happy 4th of July. But this is a really cool feature, and it kind of helps add to the whole playability of this toy. But, however, probably one of the downsides of this toy, much like the Revoltech Woody, is the lack of a stand. And not to mention his waist is very loose. I mean, you can probably hear, but other than that, it's really loose. And without a stand, it's really kind of hard to get him in a, well, decent pose, because usually a stand does help. I mean, I can get him in, I guess he's kind of a, this pose is musical pose. not really standing, but sitting and singing. Yeah, sorry about that. Also, he comes with, this might be a little hard to tell, but, he has Andy written on his foot, which is very nice. One of the coolest features, one of the positives of this toy, is his hands. His thumbs are articulated on a ball joint. And well as his fingers are articulated. Now, not individually, but the whole hand is. Which probably is one of my more favorite things of this toy. His helmet does come all the way down, but it doesn't close. But you can also just remove it by squeezing it and just gently popping it off. And his wings, you can just simply, they plug into his back. You can take those out. And then here you have him kind of regular. His accessory count is rather low. And sadly lacking. He comes with, you know, 3 of the army men. Which, to be honest, I don't know why. I would have actually liked to see a little bit more with him. Of course, he comes with his stand. This is BUZZLIGHTYEAR, so we're going to set that right there. He comes with this, which you can just, if you don't want to use the wings, you can plug into his back, which kind of gives the effect of his wings are put away. He comes, if you have the Woody comes with the Buzz Lightyear hand, which you simply unplug his hands and pop this one in there. Now, I may have not mentioned this, but his revoltech joints on his wrist are very good. Positive. And you can plug Lenny into Buzz. And now Buzz is looking through Lenny. Of course, it does make him a little top heavy. I could simply just do this, and there you are. But doing this makes him, well, there we go. And that just looks silly. But Buzz also has another feature. If you rip his face off, that's his, I guess, his happy face, and then you come with his oh yeah face, which with the oh yeah face, much like the Woody, you can make his eyes go pretty much anywhere. Then you just simply plug it in, and Buzz is looking pretty serious. Now, to compare him to Woody, Woody is probably the better of the two figures, only because he is a little bit easier to pose, but they both lack, without a stand and very little to work with, as far as waist articulation goes, they're both kind of lacking, but Buzz seems to be lacking just a little bit more. And that's why I really hate to do this, but I gotta give him a 2 out of 5. Yes, the sculpt is nice, and the articulated hands are a very big plus. But because of his waist and little arm gimmick, yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't really do a whole lot in the end. So that's unfortunately why I gotta give him a 2 out of 5. But revoltech fans, that's it for me. So until then, review on!